Welcome back to the Prime Focus Goalkeeper YouTube channel. This is Brandon Miller, and today we are going to have a discussion about dealing with corner kicks. All right, so a lot of your positioning, a lot of the decisions that are made on corner kicks tend to come from coaches, right? But sometimes you have to figure things out on the field, and sometimes as coaches you have to figure out how your goalkeeper feels in certain positions, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and how do you determine where your field players go on corner kicks based on that. So the first thing we want to talk about is positioning. So we're going to work on dealing with a corner kick that's coming from our right side, okay? So we're looking at a ball from our right side. Positioning is a big thing that's often determined by where the field players are, but your goalkeeper's comfortability coming off their line, right? Coming to claim crosses. Some goalkeepers like to be out a little bit more so they can be aggressive on those balls that are 6 or 7 yards out, and some goalkeepers like to sit back on their line and allow their defenders to clear a lot of the stuff out. So it depends on how comfortable your goalkeeper is coming off their line, but it also depends on where your field players are positioned. Right, so we've got mannequins here that are positioned in some key areas that I think are necessary for field players. Right, a lot depends on what your coach wants to do. Are you going to play a 100% zone? Are you going to go 100% man? Or is there going to be a mixture? Typically, coaches like to do a little bit of a mixture. So we have some field players that have set positions and others that are going to be marking the attacking players coming in. So one key position here, typically having one of your tallest players, one of your best players in the air at the top of the six, right about here, 5-6 yards out in the middle, right? Because whether you're a goalkeeper out here or whether you're a goalkeeper here, right, that ball gets whipped in at such a pace and at such a height and traffic's coming in, sometimes it's tough for you to go through traffic. So you need to be able to have a defender you can rely on to clear away some of these balls that you may not be able to get to. Second portion, talking about where the immediate danger is. And this is a big portion that a lot of coaches and a lot of goalkeepers don't think about, right? That ball getting whipped in from a corner gets to our near post quicker than it gets to our far post, which means we have less time to react here. So even if I'm here and ready for the near post, I've got attackers sprinting in, and so me trying to get to a whipped in ball that's coming at my near post and beating the defenders and the attackers that are coming at the ball makes it extremely tough. So placing a defender in that front area that can clear away a lot of these balls that we may not be able to get to is necessary for me. Now, let's talk a little bit about the post, and we're going to have Coach Pablo step in now so we can talk a little bit about the post. So we're going to come down here and thinking about, do we want men on our post? We've got the far post, we've got the near post. As we talked about, we have the immediate danger, which is the near post area. So if I'm going to put someone on the near post, how do they set up on the near post? Right? So some coaches want their players inside on the near post, and some coaches want their players where Coach Pablo is right now. For me, it's got to be an awareness of the movement of the player on the near post. For me, the immediate danger is in front, and I need this person to be able to clear the ball out if it gets whipped in here. So standing right here makes it extremely difficult, especially for a right footer. That ball gets whipped in this space that player can't get to, and my goalkeeper's back here, and I'm trying to clear out like this, versus being here, that ball gets whipped in, I can step in, I can clear, I can head the ball away. Right? So I like to start my near post player here, and if that ball gets played over top, now my near post player has to have the awareness to drop in here and deal with if a ball gets headed on and gets past the keeper, defending this area here. Now that's the near post area. So Coach Pablo's there, the ball gets whipped in, he drops into that near post area here, and he's defending that. Right? As a goalkeeper, I'm here, I've dropped in here, and we like to have a player there and on the back post, because a lot of these strikes that are going to come in, whether it's a header, whether it's a volley, whether it's just a scramble and a shot, 6-7 yards coming through traffic, a lot of reactions. We may not be able to get down to those corners. A lot of it's going to be in our area, and we rely on our field players to clear out a lot of that stuff. So we talked about the near post area, far post area. This is personal preference. For me, as a goalkeeper, when I was playing, I didn't really see the need for it. A lot of times when that ball, we talk about the near post area being the immediate danger, that ball traveling to the far post takes a lot more time. I'm able to get across and be able to react and put myself in a position to react and make saves. That far post area for me is a lot of times just the player sitting on the post hoping for a strike to come in, and it tends to be a wasted player. A lot depends on what the goalkeeper feels comfortable with and what the coach feels comfortable with, right? But those are some of the key areas. Now, we talked about the top of the six. We talked about that front post whipped in area on the corner. We talked about the near post area here and whether you're going to put a player there or not, right? We don't put a player there. That ball comes in. It means that we have to be a little bit more forward in our initial set position because that ball can get there a lot quicker. If I'm back here and there's no one on that near post and I'm relying just on that person who has to deal with a whipped in ball to their left and cover that near post, it's a lot for them to handle. Balls tend to sneak through there a lot. When you see Olympical goals that go straight in, right, a lot of it is either that ball whipped in over top and goalkeepers don't adjust well, or it's that ball whipped in near post and it's coming through traffic. No one gets a touch on it, but it comes through traffic and goes straight in because we don't have anyone there to defend. Let's talk about when they put a player in here on the goalkeeper. This is where a lot of trouble comes for goalkeepers. They get really sucked into this player right here. So we get too tight to this player, and then wherever this player goes, we tend to go. And teams, offensive teams know this a lot of times. So you put a player in on the goalkeeper, this player sprints forward, well, that goalkeeper tends to step forward. And then that ball gets played over top, and there's openings, balls whipped in that area where you should be claiming, but now you're running forward because you're getting so sucked into this player. All right, so what I like to tell my goalkeepers is, don't so much worry about this player yourself. Bring a player in. So Coach Pablo is going to come in. Now, a lot of goalkeepers tend to put that player behind, right? This still leaves the advantage for the player in front, right? What I like to tell my goalkeepers, if I'm going to put a player here, a defender here, I want that defender to take care of the near post, right? Because I have to get around this player to get to the near post. It's not good. It's not an advantage for me. I want Coach Pablo to deal with the player in front. So Coach Pablo, if this player goes forward, Coach Pablo's going with him there. I can stay here. I'll deal with everything behind him, right? So Coach Pablo is dealing with the front post area. So Coach Pablo will be here defending while you're behind, right? And if that player goes forward or if that player's backing into you, Coach Pablo can, work to move him out of the way. But if that player darts out in front, Coach Pablo's going with, you can stay there. You don't have to worry about where this player goes. So a lot of times it's simply just hands up here, not getting too engaged with this player because that's what they want. Let your field players do that, and you are here simply focusing on that ball being whipped in, whether you have to go forward or whether you have to go back. So that is how we want to really focus on dealing with corners. Now, making sure that your men are marked up, making sure that there's someone at the top of the box to deal with cutback balls or balls that are cleared out. Right? These are all crucial points to dealing with a corner kick. Is it a whipped-in corner kick from the right side? Is it a right footer taking it? Or is it a left footer that's going to go out to your to the 18, most likely, right? How do you set yourself up? Can you step out a little bit more? Or on a whipped-in corner with the right foot, are you a little bit deeper, right? How far back are you? Do you have more defenders in the front zone so you feel a little bit more comfortable to stay a little bit further back and attack anything that's mid-goal or far post? These are all the decisions you have to make, but the important thing for me to understand, for my goalkeepers and my goalkeeper coaches to understand, is the immediate danger is in the front area, right? We want to be able to clear that front area out as best we can because that's where the ball gets to first. That's where that immediate danger is, and then we'll deal with the far post as well. So understanding how you're going to set up your players, having someone there. Are we going to have two on the post? Is it going to be one on the post? What does their positioning look like? Are they out or are they back on their line? These are all things that we have to understand. What's the area that I want to cover as a goalkeeper? If I'm sitting a little bit deeper, it's probably going to be 3 to 4 yards. If I'm a little bit higher out, now I can potentially get up to the 6 and beyond. So understanding where my positioning is going to be, how comfortable I am coming off my line and either catching or punching through traffic, these are all considerations that we have to make as goalkeepers. So those are just the basics that we want to focus on with corner kicks. Understanding my defender's positioning, understanding my positioning, and then how aggressive I want to be off my line. That's pretty much all we have for corner kicks today. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in our comments section below. But until next time, stay focused.